I was signing the lease on my new office when my father's name lit up my phone for the third time that morning. I let it ring. The real estate agent smiled politely, pretending not to notice, and I kept my hand steady as I initialed the last page. My father had made his choice 7 days ago. Now I was making mine. But when the fourth call came through before I'd even handed back the pen, I knew something had broken. My father didn't beg. He didn't chase. He certainly didn't call 4 times in 20 minutes. I answered. Betty. His voice cracked on my name. We lost Meridian. Meridian Tech $11 million. Our biggest client. The account I'd spent 3 years nurturing, building, protecting. The account I'd warned him about. I need you to come back, he said. Please. I hung up. Let me take you back 6 months, to the day I realized my father had been planning to cut me out all along. I'd been working at Harrison & Associates, my father's commercial real estate firm, since I graduated college 8 years ago. Not as a favor. Not as some nepotism hire sitting in a corner office doing nothing. I started in the basement archives, learned every property code in Cook County, worked my way through acquisitions, then client management, then development. I was 29 years old and I was the reason Harrison & Associates had tripled its revenue in 5 years. My sister Lauren was 26. She'd worked at the firm for exactly 14 months. Before that, she'd been a yoga instructor in Santa Monica, then a lifestyle blogger, then briefly a crystals wholesaler. She was good at branding herself. She was not good at commercial real estate. But she was good at being my father's favorite. If this hits home, tell me where you're watching from. Drop a comment if you know what it's like to be the daughter who works while the other one gets everything. The morning I found out, I'd been in back-to-back client meetings since 7 a.m. I walked into my father's office at noon to go over the Meridian contract renewal, $11 million over 3 years, the deal I'd been negotiating for 6 months. Meridian's CEO, Richard Shen, trusted me. We'd built that relationship carefully, presentation by presentation, site visit by site visit. My father was at his desk. Lauren was perched on the edge of it, swinging her legs, scrolling through her phone. Betty, my father said. Sit down. I sat. I've been thinking about succession, he said. About the future of the firm. My heart lifted. Finally. I'd been running operations for 2 years without the title, without the equity, waiting for him to formalize what everyone already knew. I'm giving the company to Lauren. The room tilted. What? She's going to take over as CEO when I step back next quarter. I'm transferring 100% of my shares to her. I looked at Lauren. She wasn't even looking up from her phone. Dad. My voice came out thin. I've been here 8 years. I manage every major account. I built the development pipeline. Lauren's been here barely a year. Lauren has fresh perspective, he said. New ideas. She understands branding, social presence. That's where the industry is going. Social presence? I couldn't breathe right. Dad, we're a commercial real estate firm. We negotiate leases and development deals. We don't need Instagram filters. We need relationships. Contracts. Actual work. This is final, Betty. What about me? He folded his hands. You'll stay on as Director of Client Relations. You're good at the detail work. Lauren will handle strategy and vision. Detail work. I'd closed 43 deals in 2 years. I'd brought in Meridian, Grandview Properties, the entire Lakeshore portfolio. I'd saved the Northbrook project when the financing fell through. I'd worked 70-hour weeks while Lauren posted sunset photos from Tulum. Detail work. Does she even know what Meridian does? I asked quietly. Lauren finally looked up. I'll learn, Betty. Don't be bitter. That was the moment. The exact moment I stopped arguing. My father made the announcement to the firm the next day. There was confused applause. People looked at me. I smiled and clapped and said all the right things, and then I went into the bathroom and locked myself in a stall and dug my nails into my palms until I could breathe again. Lauren's first act as incoming CEO was to redecorate the executive office. She brought in a feng shui consultant. She replaced my father's mahogany desk with a white acrylic one. She hung motivational posters that said things like disrupt and innovate and manifest. Her second act was to schedule a meeting with Meridian Tech. I want to put my own stamp on the relationship, she told me. Show them the new direction. Lauren, Richard Chin doesn't care about new direction. He cares about results, timelines, and whether we can deliver the Oak Street property on schedule. You're so focused on the old way of doing things, she said. I'm going to bring some creative energy to the pitch. It's not a pitch. It's a contract renewal. The deal is basically done. I just need to walk him through the final terms. I'll handle it. I should have fought harder. I should have gone to my father, demanded he see reason. But I was tired. Tired of begging for recognition. Tired of watching mediocrity get rewarded because it smiled prettier. So I gave her my notes. 3 years of relationship history. Richard's priorities. His communication style. The specific language he wanted in the liability clauses. Everything. She didn't read it. I wasn't invited to the Meridian meeting. Lauren said it would be confusing to have both of us there. She wanted to establish herself as the primary contact. My father agreed. So I sat at my desk while Lauren walked into the conference room with Richard Chin, and I answered emails and pretended my hands weren't shaking. The meeting lasted 40 minutes. I knew it was bad when I heard Lauren's laugh, loud, nervous, echo down the hallway. When they emerged, Richard's face was carefully blank. Professional. He shook Lauren's hand, nodded to my father, and left without stopping by my office. He always stopped by my office. I gave it 10 minutes, then walked to the conference room. Lauren was inside, staring at her phone. My father stood by the window. How'd it go? I asked. Great, Lauren said. Really great. He loved my ideas. My father said nothing. What ideas? I suggested we pivot the Oak Street property to mixed-use residential. Create a lifestyle destination. He was really interested. My blood went cold. Lauren. Meridian doesn't do residential. They're a corporate office developer. That's their entire business model. Well, maybe they should diversify. You told Richard Chen, who's spent 30 years building corporate office spaces, that he should pivot to residential. I was being innovative. You were ignoring everything I told you about him. Tap like if you've ever watched someone destroy something you built. Subscribe so this story reaches someone who needs to hear it. Richard didn't return our calls. His assistant sent a polite email 3 days later. Meridian Tech has decided to explore other partnerships for the Oak Street development and future projects. We appreciate Harrison and Associates' efforts. $11 million. Gone. My father called an emergency meeting. What happened? He asked Lauren. She blinked at him. I don't know. I thought it went well. You thought? He pressed his fingers to his temples. Betty. Fix this. I looked at him across the table. At Lauren, already pulling out her phone, bored now that the crisis was someone else's problem. No, I said. Excuse me? I gave Lauren everything she needed to close that deal. I spent 3 years building that relationship. You gave her the company. You gave her the title. You told me I was good at detail work. I stood up. So let her handle it. Betty. I quit. The room went silent. You can't quit, my father said. I'm giving 2 weeks' notice. Per my contract. If you walk away from this firm, you'll have nothing. No references. No reputation. I built you. I smiled. It felt like glass in my mouth. No, Dad. I built you. You're about to find that out. I left the conference room, packed my desk, and walked out of Harrison and Associates while my father shouted my name down the hallway. I didn't look back. The first week was the hardest. Not because I regretted leaving, I didn't. But because the silence was deafening. My phone didn't ring. My inbox sat empty. I'd spent 8 years building relationships in that firm, and now I was just gone. I slept badly. I stress-cleaned my apartment. I updated my resume and stared at it, wondering if anyone would hire the woman who'd quit her family business in the middle of a crisis. Then, on day 5, I got a text from Marcus Webb. Marcus was a senior analyst at Grandview Properties, one of our mid-sized clients, a developer I'd worked with closely for 3 years. The text was short: coffee? We met at a cafe in River North. I heard you left Harrison, Marcus said. I did. Good. I blinked. Good. Betty, you were the only reason we stayed with that firm. Your dad's old school and checked out. Lauren's. He smiled diplomatically. Let's say we got a call from her last week and it did not inspire confidence. She called Grandview? She wanted to touch base about our portfolio. Suggested we consider tiny home developments. He laughed. We build Class A office towers. Oh, Lauren. So here's my question, Marcus said. Are you starting your own firm? I hadn't been. Not seriously. But sitting there, watching Marcus lean forward with genuine interest, I realized I could. Maybe, I said. When you do, call me. We're not renewing with Harrison. That afternoon, I called the real estate agent. I opened Bennett Commercial Group 6 weeks after I quit. Just me. 1 office. A laptop and a phone and 8 years of relationships I'd built on my own merit, not my father's name. I called every client I'd worked with personally. I didn't badmouth Harrison and Associates. I didn't need to. I just told them I was starting fresh, and if they ever needed someone who actually answered their emails, I was here. Grandview signed within a week. Then Pinecrest Holdings. Then Lakeshore Partners. 3 months in, I hired my first employee. 6 months in, I signed a lease on a real office. Nothing fancy, just clean, professional space in a good building with my name on the door. My father didn't call. Lauren sent one text: Dad says you're trying to steal our clients. Really mature, Betty. I didn't respond. I was too busy working. Comment if you've ever had to start over from scratch. Tell me what gave you the strength to do it. 7 months after I quit, my father called. It was early, 6 a.m. My phone buzzed on the nightstand and I almost ignored it. But something made me answer. Betty. His voice was rough. Tired. We lost Meridian. I know, I said. That was 7 months ago. No. I mean we just lost them completely. They terminated all existing contracts. The Oak Street deal, the River North property, everything. They're moving all their business to Collaborative Realty. I sat up. All of it? Richard won't return my calls. Lauren tried to meet with him and he refused. They sent a letter through their legal team. Collaborative Realty. My main competitor. A firm I'd been steadily pulling clients from for 6 months. I'm sorry, I said. And I meant it. Watching something burn is different when you remember building it. I need you to call Richard, my father said. He'll talk to you. Dad. Please. Betty. I made a mistake. 3 words I'd never heard from him before. I can't fix this, I said quietly. Richard trusted me. Then you let Lauren torpedo that trust. Even if I called him, I'm not at Harrison anymore. I can't promise him anything on your behalf. Then come back. Come back? I'll make you partner. 50% equity. You and Lauren can run it together. I almost laughed. You want me to come back and save your company so I can split it with the person you chose over me? It's a good offer. It's insulting. Betty. I hung up. He called again 2 days later. And again the day after that. By the 4th call, he was frantic. Betty, we're hemorrhaging clients. Pinecrest pulled out. Grandview pulled out. Lakeshore is reviewing their contract. I know, I said. They're with me now. The silence on the other end was sharp. You stole them. I didn't steal anyone, Dad. They left because Lauren sent them proposals for projects that had nothing to do with their business models. They left because you promoted someone who didn't know what she was doing and pushed out the person who did. This is revenge. This is business. You taught me that. If Harrison and Associates goes under, you'll have destroyed your own family. No, I said. You destroyed it when you handed everything to Lauren because she was easier to control than I was. I'm just doing what you told me I was good at. Detail work. I hung up again. If you've ever been told you're too much, too ambitious, too difficult, too demanding, drop a like. You're not too much. They're just too small. 3 weeks later, Lauren called. Betty. Her voice was small. Nothing like the confident tone she'd used when she was telling me not to be bitter. I need your help. With what? Dad's talking about shutting down the firm. We can't make payroll. I don't, her voice cracked. I don't know what I'm doing. For a second, I almost felt sorry for her. Almost. Lauren, I tried to help you. I gave you my notes. I warned you about Richard Chen. You ignored everything because you thought you knew better. I know. You were right. I messed up. You did. Can you fix it? No. Betty, please. You want to know why I can't fix it? Because Richard Chin didn't just lose faith in Harrison and Associates. He lost faith in Dad. In you. In the firm's judgment. That's not something I can repair with a phone call. Then what do we do? I took a breath. You close down. You sell the assets. You let Dad retire with whatever dignity he has left. And what do I do? Whatever you want, Lauren. You always have. I hung up. My father showed up at my office 2 days later. He didn't call first. He just appeared in my waiting area, looking older than I'd ever seen him. My assistant told me he was there, and I almost said I was busy. But I didn't. I let him in. Your office is nice, he said, looking around. Thank you. You've done well. I learned from you. He flinched. We both knew what I meant. I'd learned to be ruthless. To prioritize results over feelings. To build something strong and protect it. He sat down across from my desk. I came to apologize. I waited. I thought Lauren needed it more than you did, he said. She's always struggled. Always needed help. You were so capable. So independent. I thought you'd be fine no matter what. So you punished me for being competent. I failed you. His voice broke. I took you for granted. I convinced myself that giving Lauren the firm was fair because you didn't need it. But the truth is, I was afraid. Afraid? Of you. Of how good you are. Of the fact that you didn't need me anymore. He looked at me. Really looked at me. You were always going to outgrow me, Betty. Lauren never would. I didn't know what to say. I'm selling Harrison and Associates, he said. There's a buyer. A development group out of Minneapolis. They're offering enough to cover debts and give the staff severance. That's good. I want to give you your share. My share? You built that company as much as I did. More, maybe. I'm giving you 40% of the sale. I stared at him. Dad. I know it doesn't fix anything. I know it doesn't give you back the years you spent waiting for me to see you. But it's yours. You earned it. Subscribe if you believe people can change, even when it's late. Even when it's hard. I took the money. Not because I needed it, Bennett Commercial Group was doing well on its own, but because he was right. I had earned it. I used it to expand. Hired 5 more people. Opened a second office in Milwaukee. Started bidding on projects I'd only dreamed about when I was trapped at Harrison and Associates. Richard Chin called me 3 months after my father sold the firm. Betty, he said. I heard you have your own company now. I do. Are you taking on new clients? I smiled. Always. Good. Let's talk about Oak Street. We signed the deal 4 weeks later. $11 million over 3 years. The same contract I'd been negotiating when Lauren destroyed it. Except this time, my name. Lauren and I don't talk much. She moved to Portland, started a wellness coaching business. She sends me a Christmas card every year with a photo of her dog and a note that says something generic like "Hope you're well." I send one back. My father and I have lunch once a month. It's stilted sometimes. We're rebuilding trust the slow way, brick by brick. He asks about my business. I tell him. He's proud, I think, even if it's complicated for him. He told me recently that he wishes he'd done things differently. That he'd seen me sooner. I told him I wish I hadn't waited so long to walk away. We're both right. Here's what I learned. Loyalty to people who don't value you isn't loyalty. It's self-erasure. And waiting for someone to see your worth is just another way of hiding. My father didn't give me what I deserved. So I built it myself. And when he came back, begging me to fix what he broke, I didn't gloat. I didn't lecture. I just kept building. That's the real revenge. Not destruction. Not bitterness. Just success they can't take credit for. If this story meant something to you, tell me in the comments. If you're fighting for recognition in your own family, your own company, your own life, tap like so someone else who needs this finds it. And subscribe, because there are more stories like this one, and maybe yours is next. I'm 31 now. Bennett Commercial Group has 17 employees and revenue I'm proud of. I'm bidding on a development deal that would have been impossible 2 years ago. I don't think about my father's company much anymore. I don't wonder what would have happened if he'd chosen differently. Because here's the truth, he did me a favor. He forced me to stop waiting. To stop shrinking. To stop believing that if I just worked hard enough, someone else would finally hand me what I'd earned. Some doors don't open, no matter how hard you knock. So you build your own. And you make damn sure it has your name on it.